Hi everybody, I hope you're having a good night. I wanted to play a little something for America. Now, I may not have a big following, but I'm also someone who doesn't rely on disinformation and the spreading of bullshit. And in fact, if I make a mistake, if I say something that's incorrect, I'm one of the first people to say, "Oh, excuse me, I stand corrected," or "I wasn't aware of that." I'm one of those people, and I'm proud of it. But I ran across something on the internet. I've never heard of this person. His name is David Pakman, Pakman. He has some bullshit YouTube show, and he has a large following. It's 1.07 million subscribers. Now, what we have to understand is when we have someone who goes along with communist agenda and it's his job to spread disinformation, and on top of it, when he's about what I'm about to play for you, how he's talking trash regarding the Trump administration being anti-Trump and trying to trash Giuliani, I noticed this little bitch has no facts, just like Kennedy. So this comes from that interview with Kennedy from MTV. Michelin woman arms herself. I'm not sure if you've seen her arms, but it's like Michelin man. And the hair needs to, it's naturally curly. I know I have naturally curly hair. Take care of it, Kennedy. You look like you've been sitting on your couch all day eating bonbons and you just hop on at Fox. And not only do you look like a hot mess and your makeup's disgusting, but you have no facts. On this interview with Giuliani, you had no facts. You didn't even do your research. Because when I look here, David Pakman and Kennedy can't think for themselves, can't speak for themselves, because communist China owns you. So I'm going to go ahead and play this so you'll know what I'm talking about.
So you really have to see this to believe it. A longtime viewer, Ned, sent me this clip, and it is unbelievable. Rudy Giuliani went on Fox Business yesterday to again tell his wild conspiracies about
Wild conspiracy?
Hunter Biden flew from California 3,000 miles to the East Coast to drop off 3 laptops at a repair shop run by a legally blind guy, and got off the plane drunk and drove to the repair shop and then never picked up the laptops, so the repair guy looked at his private emails and then sent them to the FBI. That completely ridiculous story, Rudy was on Fox Business to talk about. And it's all so ridiculous that even the Fox interviewer, who goes by the name Kennedy, actually had to push back a little bit because what Rudy was saying is so absurd. And when she brings up Rudy Giuliani acting sort of like Christopher Steele of the Steele dossier, Rudy loses it, starts demanding an apology. You have to see this. We're going to jump in several minutes in. Rudy's been ranting for about 3-4 minutes, completely incoherently. And Kennedy starts to sort of question, are these laptops even really Hunter's? Is this stuff really Hunter's? And it starts to get a little bit ugly. Take a look. Hunter Biden.
Okay, so as you can hear, David Pakman running his mouth. This guy doesn't even know what's going on. He's jumping on some communist media agenda of disinformation bandwagon. Had this David Pakman, the guy with no facts, the guy with 1.07 million subscribers, did his research, he would know that the signature on the very contract and receipt for those laptops match Hunter's signature. Had he done his research? Had he also done his research again, I'm referring to David Pakman, he would know that the FBI has acknowledged this laptop as being Hunter's. by going through the number of texts, videos, photos, documents. And there had been an official investigation launched on this laptop. This is dated October 28th. Okay? Had that foaming of the mouth like Savannah Guthrie. See these little puppets, guys, these communist puppets. They're paid to spread disinformation. They're paid to jump on a bandwagon of disinformation and spread it and attack someone like Savannah Guthrie did on Town Hall. And that really upset me because it was very, very abusive. And to destabilize America like that with a false premise of attacks that are unjustified at our president is disgusting, because it leads our country off the edge at the bottom of the cliff to socialism and communism. So again, David Pakman has no facts. He's owned by communist China, and he can't think and he can't speak for himself. Maybe he should pull up his little girl panties and start doing some research. Shit! Who would have ever thought, right? Also, David, if you had a pair of balls, you would also know, had you done some research and got some facts, that Hunter Biden's attorney has emailed and called the owner of the Mac Pro computer repair shop. The computer repair shop. The Apple Mac Pro notebook that belonged to Hunter. Hunter Biden's attorney called to get the laptop back for Hunter via email and via phone calls. So when we have these pedophile supporting, because we got to remember, Biden has also been caught in trafficking, prostitution, contracts, money being given to him, 3.5 million wired. There's a lot going on that makes the left look bad, because at the end of the day, we all know the left are traffickers. They want the Roe versus Wade to stay open so they can get these children that are getting aborted. They want them to be aborted closer to the 9-month, or even, have laws that allow them to kill children after they're born for black market organ harvesting. So this little bitch, David Pakman, had no facts. He had no facts. He's just running on this disinformation highway attacking Giuliani. So, David, pull your girl panties up and do your research, because you have no facts. So I'm going to go on to play this. And now we're going to hear Kennedy pretty much do the same song and dance as David Pakman.
Allegedly dropped the laptop off in April 2019. I believe that completely. But you only came in possession of this 10 days ago, so they've just been floating around for a year and a half. So how do we know that these laptops, if you have cracked the encryption, how do we know that other people haven't and placed some of this stuff on here, especially?
Okay, so Kennedy, you used to be on MTV. I used to watch you back in the day when you were somewhat normal. Now you are a complete hot mess. Your hair looks like hell. You look like you've been in bed all day. And you got a dress that's way too small. You got these Michelin arms going on. You got a little, armpit boob here. And you're attacking former Mayor Giuliani. And you just said that this laptop happened to be just floating around. And anyone could have just started, going into the files. Now, Kennedy, had you done your research, had you not listened to your brainwashing communistic puppets, because you're a communist, And now I don't like you. And you're spreading disinformation. Had you done your research, you've been working on TV for God knows how long, how many decades. Had you done your research, you would have known that laptop was not floating around. That laptop was in the hands of the computer repair shop owner since the day Hunter dropped it off. And I bet you also didn't know that the computer repairman, he fixed that computer because it had water damage. So not only did he put time into fixing something that Hunter abandoned, but the guy was kind of ticked off because Hunter never even paid for the work that computer repairman done. And I bet you didn't know that either, did you? Well, now you know. So for her to spin it like this laptop's just been all over the United States. It's been on Trump rallies with Trump in Wisconsin and Iowa and Pennsylvania. I mean, she might as well just throw that in because that's how stupid she sounds.
Like the most salacious stuff. And when
Hellacious.
you show the evidence to prove that these are unadulterated devices?
I gave it all to the New York Post, and they did.
So Giuliani just tells her that he had given the hard drive or copies of their laptop at one point to the Post. They've done their own investigations. They had their own separate researchers, witnesses, professional, researchers confirm things about that laptop, about it actually being Hunter Biden's laptop. And for, as we hear, Kennedy calls it hellacious. Had she done her research, she would know that Hunter Biden, there's photos of Hunter Biden sexually abusing children. Okay, but she's not going to say that because all these people on the left are pedophiles and they're traffickers for the most part. And when you side with communist China, like what this bitch is doing with no facts, attacking Giuliani, that's exactly what she's doing. There's photos of Biden with underage girls. He's sexually abusing them. One of them is a family member who's 14 years old. And anytime a grown-ass man is with a child and they're not clothed properly or there's inappropriate behavior, that is sexual abuse. So, again, Kennedy has no facts about what's on this laptop, what's been going on with this laptop, and I'll continue.
Done their own separate verification of it with independent experts, and they came to the conclusion that it's his hard drive. There are internal pieces of information here that only he could have, that I know from my investigation.
Okay, so Kennedy starting to ask reasonable questions, and then keeps getting more and more on Rudy's nerves. And Kennedy then says, we're going to have to look into this ourselves because it's sort of sounding a little bit weird, Rudy. And then Kennedy says, you're sort of playing the role of like a Christopher Steele.
Okay, so this little shrimp ass, David Pakman, again has no facts. When Giuliani went on Fox and Friends, and he had went on Fox prior to this with some actual journalists who take time to research, Giuliani said, okay, the Post has the 411 on this laptop. It's been verified by their own professional researchers, expert witnesses. And this guy,
we're going to have to look into this ourselves because
this guy doesn't even know that Giuliani had already let Fox friends and people on Fox know that they could come take a look at the hard drive themselves. They could come take a look. They could take what they needed to take to do their own independent research on it to verify. So this little bitch right here, David Pakman.
It's sort of sounding a little bit weird, Rudy. And then Kennedy says, you're sort of playing the role of like a Christopher Steele. Rudy flips and demands an apology.
So when you have to deal with two posers, because you got this guy who's a sycophant, this David Pakman, and he's completely anti-Trump, yet he doesn't know anything about this laptop. This guy doesn't even know whether he's coming or going. He's a little communist puppet, and just like Savannah Guthrie has no facts, this guy doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And when you're a sycophant, and you just agree with what you're being told, and you don't even do research on the facts with what's going on with this laptop, what's happened with this laptop, who, what, when, why, where, what, David Pakman, Kennedy, shame on you guys. And then, Kennedy
Take a look at this.
You
accuses.
see 50 pictures.
All right,
of
come on, man.
underage girls.
Here's what we'll do. We will have the people in our news departments verify all of this because
She's talking down to Giuliani when she doesn't know shit about the laptop to begin with. I'll play some more.
it sounds like there may be something here that is fishy that is causing Americans, it's giving them pause, and other stuff that might have been completely adulterated over the 18 months. And some could say that you were acting like Christopher Steele, that you were abstracting information, and because...
You gotta be kidding me. I was acting like Christopher Steele?
That's what it sounds like. When you
better
look at the people
apologize.
that...
You better apologize for that. I mean, I've been a United States Attorney,
So, hold on, I'll play a little bit more.
Associate Attorney General, Mayor of New York City, and a member of the bar for 50 years. I've never been accused of anything, and you're accusing me of being Christopher Steele?
I'm accusing you of acting in a
outrageous.
capacity
You do that based
similar
on nothing.
to Christopher Steele, and that
Similar
you
to
were
a
going
crook.
back and forth between
Similar to an
Ukraine
obstruction of justice.
and the
What
United
you are saying
States.
is an outrageous defamation.
So that escalated very quickly. It goes from Rudy having essentially 7 minutes to rant incoherently, to Rudy demanding an apology from the interviewer and accusing her of defamation.
Okay, so this little bitch with his panties down, David Pakman, do your research. Neither you or Kennedy have any idea what's going on with the laptop, what has gone on. Again, who, what, why, when, where, what, how. The five W's of photojournalism, broadcasting, whatever the hell you call yourself. Disinformation spreader. You don't even have the 5 W's of that for your disinformation. You're just running your mouth. Kennedy, you need to apologize to Giuliani. If you're going to side with communism and you're going to try to attack Giuliani, and you have nothing to back up what you're saying, and there's already been factual events, things that have taken place with the laptop that involve the FBI, that involve photos of children being abused by Hunter, that involve a video recording that went into the cloud of Biden talking about they're a part of China, being a spy for China, and his best friend may be dead, one of the richest men in the world, that they're spies for China. And when she said, well, we'll go ahead and verify that information, you're late. So much has already been verified. And you're running your mouth like because you got to follow the communist agenda. You can't think for yourself. You can't speak for yourself. You have no facts. You've done no research. You have no leg to stand on. And then you got David Pakman. This little good for nothing. The clown shows communist puppets are putting on TV, putting on the internet is an outrage. So, David Pakman, do me a favor, grow some balls, and stop spreading disinformation because you want your pedophile leader, communist ran, communist bot Joe Biden, who's trying to steal this country out from under us and sell it to, and sell our successes and our riches, everything that has enriched our country to make it a success. Biden is trying to dupe the Americans through the fake ass media and this little bitch right here, David Pakman, to dupe our citizens and hand over our country to communist China because they've paid Biden millions of dollars to do it, and him and his son Hunter are in fact spies to get this going. It's all a con job. So the facts are, Biden and Hunter have no business in this election. Had the FBI done their job and not covered up, because they've had this laptop all along. And there's certain people in the FBI that are going to have to answer to that. And I bet you David Pakman didn't even know that. You know why? Because he likes to keep his little girl panties dragging around his ankles. Yeah, that's why. David Pakman, Kennedy, get it together. You're going to be called out and known for what you are, communist puppets spreading disinformation so that communism and socialism can take over this country. And you two are traitors. You've been compromised. You can never be trusted again. Kennedy, you owe Giuliani an apology. Pakman, he doesn't owe Giuliani an apology, because I don't even think Giuliani could give a fuck about this guy. Doesn't even know who he is. Who cares about this loser? Kennedy, you owe Giuliani an apology. And get yourself together. You look like a hot goddamn mess on TV. Comb that goddamn hair. Cover up those big fat ass arms with the fat hanging out right here. That second boob you got going on. Take care of that. And do your goddamn research, bitch. Alright, guys. I've had enough of this disinformation that I have to, read, and now I have to talk about it, because we got very irresponsible people who are bought out easy. These people will sell out in a hot second. We gotta know who these people are, call them out. Kennedy of Fox needs to be fired. Okay, this is the second time she's gone after Giuliani in the media, and he gave her a pass the first time. And now, Fox, you gotta get rid of her. Pakman, David Pakman, he's just a little puppet. He probably bends down and grabs his knees too when communist China asks him to, like Joe Rogan does. Alright, guys. Trump 2020, and I'm very excited about the election. I voted Trump 2020, Trump Pence, and I will see you guys in the next video. Let's call out these disinformation spreaders, these communist puppets, these lowlifes who want to lie on our government and protect pedophiles and adrenochrome drinkers in Hollywood and in DC and in the media. Okay, guys? Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of each other, and Trump 2020. Bye, guys. See you on the next video.